What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about a device that is my favorite device for foot training. It's a Blackboard foot trainer. You can get this at blackboard.com. Honestly, there's a lot of offshoot variations that are on Amazon, so you can just Google or Amazon Blackboard and you can use this to train your foot to get stronger, strong arches, not have to deal with plantar fascia or various different types of foot pain issues. Now, one little tip when you're looking for these, and I'll drop a link down in the comments below and down into the description to one that doesn't have this small of an attachment point. The video that you see me showing at the gym has a much bigger attachment point to the middle. This is just, I don't know if it's a cost-cutting thing or whatever, but it just creates a lot more flimsiness around it, and it doesn't feel as natural to use. So you want to find one that has some thickness right here at that middle point. It feels nicer of a device when you're using it. So I'll put a link to one of those down below. But you know, if you get one of these two, it still just works fine. Just a personal preference of mine. Now, first thing I want to point out in the video is the setup of the Blackboard. So you're going to notice a forefoot and a rear foot aspect of the board. And so it's broken up into these two halves. So when we set it up, we want either a stable forefoot, meaning there's two blocks running up and down the forefoot or top, and then just one block on the bottom, or vice versa, two blocks on the bottom and one block up top. What that allows us to do is it creates a rear foot mobility emphasis or a forefoot mobility emphasis. And so depending on the setup, which one's stable, which one's mobile, that's where you're going to emphasize the stability aspect of the foot. So two blocks on the bottom is a stable rear foot and a mobile forefoot with one block, or two blocks up at top, one block down below. That means that's a mobile rear foot and a stable forefoot. So that's your setup. What we're going to do, I'm going to show you various different exercises on the Blackboard, but that setup is key. So when you set that up, the first video you're going to see is you're going to notice that the forefoot is mobile and the rear foot is stable. When you set the forefoot up, you're going to offset it so that the block wants to slant or slope down and into what we call overpronation. Your goal with the exercise is to lift that board up off the ground so that it remains nice and level. You should feel your arch in contact with the board, your big toe in contact with the board, and the arch really engaging as you're holding this from a single leg balance standpoint. From there, you're going to then do a forward tap. I do anywhere from 5 to 10 reps, a lateral tap 5 to 10 reps, and a backwards step tap 5 to 10 reps. If you really want to up the challenge, you can do a single leg RDL in this position, and that really challenges your balance further and makes the foot work even harder. But sometimes you see it even in the video with me, it's almost too challenging and where you won't feel the foot working hard. Your goal with this is to get the foot to feel like it reaches a point in time where it reaches failure and you want to stop, rest, and switch to the other side. When you switch to the other side, you just move the block over and repeat the same thing on the opposite leg. So right and left leg with the forefoot, and then you're going to flip it around, and now we're doing the rear foot, where now you can see the rear foot is mobile. You set it up so that the board wants to slope down into overpronation, and your goal from an exercise standpoint is to lift up against that overpronation, keep that board nice and level, and again, you're doing the single leg balance to tapping in all three directions to eventually maybe even doing a single leg RDL exercise, and that is again the hardest variation of the bunch. So your goal is to take that to failure, so you really work the plantar fascia. If you're dealing with plantar fasciitis or foot-based pain, I usually recommend this on a daily basis until that pain subsides. If you're not dealing with any issue, then a lot of times once a week is all that really suffices to keep the foot feeling nice and healthy, nice and strong for whatever activities that you want to enjoy. So again, Blackboard device is the name of the original one that came out with it. You don't need the original one. You can go on Amazon and search for the same thing. Get a cheaper version, whatever one that you feel comfortable purchasing yourself. I'll drop a link down in the description and comments below with the version on Amazon that I think is the best, which has that thicker attachment point between the forefoot and the rear foot. Again, it just feels more comfortable, more stable. There's less flopping around of the device when you're trying to set it up. It's just my personal preference, but pick whichever one you like for you and get that foot to work.